So I was gonna make a video about something funny, but then right before I turned the camera on, I watched a video of a mother who's currently in family court, fighting with her, I guess, her children's father. I don't know if they were married at one point or if he's just the father of her children, and they're three teenagers. And I watched this lady crying on camera about the struggle she's going through fighting in family court just to be present in her children's life, to know what's going on with them, to know about their education, to just be there to support them, and how many barriers are being put in place. When she's talking about a 13, a 15, and a 16-year-old who are no longer, who dropped out of school under their father's care, who are not, who are engaged in sexual activity, who are using drugs, who are just really just going down the wrong path. And she is basically throwing her hands up in the air saying she can't fight anymore. Like, she doesn't have any more fight in her. And I was recently talking to a friend of mine, a male, and he's going through a custody battle as well. And he was saying in his circle, he's experienced more men, specifically black men, having to go to court and fight just to be present in their children's life. And I thought that was a very interesting concept, because in my circle, it's men who drag their female exes into court for custody, right? And I wanted to just say that, like, this is completely from an outside perspective. I'm not a baby mother. I've never experienced any custody issues. As far as like my husband, he has an older child, but there were no custody issues in terms of that. There are other issues, but not that. And I just wanted to say, like, when you go to court for custody of your child, it should be for custody of your child. Okay, it should be either because you want full custody, you want joint custody, you want visitation, you want something that's based on the child's needs, right? Like, you want to be a present parent, and there's something about you two as adults that can't come to an agreement for the child. You should not be dragging anybody, male or female, into court for your own selfish reasons. Like, you're a different kind of fucked up if you are just using court and CPS and other things just to get revenge, or because you're bitter, or because you're angry, or because you're mad, because what you're doing is fucked up, and it's fucked up for your kid. Like, don't go to court for custody when you really don't want to be a father or a mother. Like, be honest with yourself and be able to say, like, that you don't want to parent, or that parenting is harder than you thought, because it is. It's really fucking hard, even when you have a good partner. Say that you need support. Say that you need help. Like, humble yourself. Maybe you can't be a full-time dad. Maybe you just need to come on the weekends or after school. But be honest. But don't use courts to, like, destroy your kid's life. Like, to me, that's, like, so fucked up. And I don't know this lady, and I don't even know I'm getting emotional about her. I guess I'm thinking about people that I do know. To do stuff like that. I get it. Like, relationships are hard, and when relationships end, I'm sure that's hard as well. But court and family court and dragging your kid through evaluations and court dates and disappointing them and doing things and hiding them and filing fake reports and making false allegations against their parent is just not the way to go. And, like, it's fucked up to say, because a lot of times I feel like when people are dragged into family court with an ex, they knew their ex was a piece of shit or like an asshole beforehand, but they just never thought, their ego was thinking, and they never thought it could happen to them. And I just want to say, like, nobody can predict the end of a marriage or a relationship, But if you know, or you've seen things that like show you that this person is just a dickhead, male or female, they're going to be a dickhead even more when you're break up. And I just want to say to the dickheads, like, stop. Like, I cheese sometimes when I make these videos about not being in therapy, but that's because I'm very introspective. I think a lot about myself. I hold myself accountable. I have people in my circle to like support me, like to help me grow, to point out my errors, like all of these things. If you don't have that, like, you should get that before you're able to file a court petition. Like, what is your end game? Like, what are you really doing this for? Because there's a child that you're impacting, and you have to be more conscientious of that. Like, you could get your ex back some other kind of way, but not through your kid. And I just feel like, I don't know if it's because I was having these conversations over the weekend that's why these type of things are in my feed, because the phone be all in your motherfucking business, right? But I've noticed, and I try to give the best advice I can when my friends are coming to me about these things, about just like stay the course and just like do what you need to do, especially if there's other underlying issues why you feel your child may not be safe or something like that. But I just want to say, like, court is not a place for revenge. I advocate for court. Like, if you have a baby mother or father that is not stepping up financially, and you need to use child support in order to establish regular and consistent financial assistance, I have no problem with that. My husband was on child support, and he was paying an exorbitant amount of child support compared to what he was actually making at the time, and he just paid it, and we just dealt with it, and he just went through it, and he got through it, and it motivated him to get better jobs, to be able to pay the child support without it being such a strain on our family, because we had a small child at the time. But I don't have a problem with that. Like, right? I never say like that the court should never be involved in your business if you need to establish something legally. But just using court and dragging your significant other like through or your ex significant other through the ringer is not, now that's a revenge. That's not the flex that you think it is. I made a video before about something I thought was a flex in terms of revenge, but this isn't. And it's because you're a child, and just like, kids need two parents. They don't have to be together, but they need two parents. And what you're just creating by impacting their mother or their father's mental health, especially if they're the primary caregiver, is you're just creating wounds in your children that they'll have to heal later on. And you're already wounded and fucked up. Like, why do you want to pass that along? You don't have nothing else to give your children but trauma. I don't know. That just fucked me up. Like, this lady, and she was like crying real tears. She was ready to quit on being her kid's mother because she didn't have any more fight in her. And I just felt like that was so sad to see that. And the father, this was on a Zoom court appearance. And so her ex was sitting there emotionless, like he almost had a smirk on his face, like he was happy that he had fucking broke her. And I wish I knew her personally, because I would give her a speech about not letting it fucking break you, and don't walk away from your fucking kids, because that's also going to create some kind of other issue for them that they're already having. But to sit there and watch the mother of your children, who you once were in a relationship, break down in tears and say she quits and she hands up, and your kids are fucked up. Like, he's not doing a better job. By what she was describing, the kids was fucked up. So your kids be out here more fucked up, but you still go to court and fight their other parent. Like, you're like I said, like a different type of dickhead. And I don't know. And I don't think, I know when I was talking to my male friend, he felt like this was happening more to men. Like, and I know there's kind of this like trope that angry, bitter baby mamas, and they take their cords and they do this, that, and the third. And I think that if you're a man and you're going through that and you're only talking to other men, then that is your reality, right? But if you're a man who's going through that, you should talk to other women, because trust, for every man that's going through that, there's also a woman who's anger, bitter baby father or whatever, is doing the same thing to them. And I think men don't think men do petty and better shit, but y'all are some of the pettiest people ever. You know what I'm saying? You just do it. You just go about it differently. And I've seen that also up close in my own life, just how it could be. But I just want to just take a minute and think about why the fuck you're really in family court. Like, you know what I mean? And pause. And to whose benefit is this